right. Let's move to our next segment. So we were talking about the Dallas Card Show, and just a little background, guys. Like for those who don't know what the Dallas Card Show is, like in my understanding, it's kind of like a sneaker con, but instead of sneakers, it's like cards, and there's gonna be a lot of good cards, a lot of good grails. So and of course, like as a hobbyist, you have your journey of wanting to collect your cards, buy your cards, build your portfolio. So for you, Sir Amil, we've had a lot of guests here. They've given us their research process, but of course, we're very, very, we really want to know your research process. So if you could talk us through like how you do this research.
Yeah. So, and that's what my whole show is about, is how to do this research process and just kind of understanding how to continue to grow in the market, right? So when I first started back in February, I was buying Panini Prism bases. I was buying Jason Tatum Prism base cards. Like I wasn't doing anything special when I first came in. But I think what helped me along the way was to continue to grow what I was looking at, right? So the first tip I have is make sure you don't get tunnel vision. Continue to grow the cards that you're looking at and continue to learn new parts of the market. That helps a ton when you start feeling that FOMO of certain cards that you're looking at taking off in the market. If you're only looking at the same 5, 10, 15 cards and those cards start going up in price, well, that's exactly how you get caught up in buying at peaks, things like that, because you're so tunnel vision. So the first thing I do almost every day is I wake up and I kind of try to find a new card, what's a card that I don't know? And there's so many cards, especially in the basketball market. There are so many cards out there. And so my first thing is try to learn new cards from every vintage, even if you don't like vintage. Even I'm not old enough to have watched Magic Johnson cards or Magic Johnson, but I'm looking at Magic Johnson cards just to understand what that market looks like, and I'm starting to do that a little bit more. And so the way I do my process is, one, continue to grow what you're looking at. And the way I do that is, if I pick a player, there's a couple ways I do this. If I want to start researching, I don't know, call it Tim Duncan cards or Magic Johnson cards or whatever. What I'll put in is eBay. I'll go in and I'll say Tim Duncan rookie PSA 10. And I'll just start looking at what PSA 10s are available. And then I'll do that for PSA 9s. And I'll go to sold data and I'll filter through sold and completed items on eBay. And I'll just start seeing what is selling out of the Tim Duncan rookie cards. And if you just put in a generic search for Tim Duncan rookie cards, you'll see a ton of rookie cards, not just the Topps Chrome, not just the Topps base, but you'll see the Metal Universe cards. You'll see the Bowman's Best cards. You'll see all these new Tim Duncan cards. And that's just how to learn a whole market for a certain player. That's one way. The other thing is I go and I'll Google search Tim Duncan rookie card checklist on Google. There's two sites that come up. It's Beckett and then Cardboard Connection. So those two sites do a pretty good job of showing you 15 to 20 to 25 cards of that player, right? And now you start looking up those particular cards. Then you get an understanding of, okay, I see a really cool Tim Duncan SP Authentic card that nobody really knows about. Nobody's talking about the SP Authentic card. But you start looking at it, you research the population on PSA, and then you start looking at 3 to 6 months sold data on that if you can. And you can do that through eBay. You can do that through the PWCC marketplace. There's a lot of ways to look at prices, but that's how I did it. I just Googled Tim Duncan rookie card checklist or LeBron James rookie card checklist. And then you just look at those two sites and you start seeing new cards that you've never seen before. Then you go to eBay and you search that particular card and you just see what's going on with that card. That's the process. It's as simple as that. You just start looking and you take it one card at a time. And if you do that every day and you start looking at multiple cards every day, that's how you learn new players and new markets and lower pop cards. And that's my research process. And I've done that now pretty much every day for about over a year now since I've been in the hobby. And now I'm sitting back a year later saying, I've looked at a lot of cards. So most cards that people talk to me about, I know, at least I've seen it. And I usually even know what the population on the card is if my memory serves me right and I can bring it back up, or it's a really easy search because I already know what to look for. You know what I'm saying? So That's my thing. That's how I research. Then once you start having a knowledge base of different cards and different players and different eras, Then you start looking at the prices, especially on card ladder, you add it to your watch list, whatever you do. And now you have an understanding of where the market is moving on different segments, not just one segment, not just modern, not just ultra modern, but now you know what Luka's doing. Now you know what Giannis is doing. Now you know what Kawhi is doing. Now you know what Tim Duncan and Kobe is doing. Now you know what Magic Johnson and Larry Bird are doing. Then you never get FOMO because none of those cards move exactly at the same time. So right now, while Kevin Durant cards are skyrocketing in price, guess what's not skyrocketing in price? Kobe Bryant cards are dipping. And so you're like, oh, okay. So while everyone's focused on Kevin Durant, now I go back and I start my Kobe Bryant research and I go heavy on Kobe Bryant because now I know it's a good time to buy Kobe. Right. Because I didn't buy at the peak. I let the peak do its thing. It dropped off. I have a lot of Kobe cards, but now I'm starting to add more Kobe because it's a good time to be buying Kobe cards. But if you're following different parts of the market, then you never get caught up into that FOMO. You never get caught up into that whole, I need to buy, and I need to flip within a month. And then have a strategy 6 months out instead of 1 month out. Everyone's trying to make quick money. The arbitrage really is don't try to make quick money. Wait 6 months to make your money. And that's how you really plan properly for the next run up, you know? I hope that helps.
Yes, definitely.
That was so insightful. Like I swear, I wish I had my notebook right now. And man, I swear. And like personally, like I would say like my knowledge on the different cards is still kind of limited, even though like I have my own box break business and I run this business with Justin. Like especially with vintage cards, like my awareness of vintage cards I would say is really poor. And that what you just said right now is something I definitely do. Probably.
And I'm doing it every day. Like I'm learning through this process as well, but it's helping me. Like that's what's helping me. That's what I realized has been the best thing for me is just to do research. Like just keep learning new cards.
Right. All right. So yeah, we're talking about Grail. So let's get right into it. You talked about your most recent deal, the Kobe X Factor. But if that's not your most prized Grail right now, what would be that card right now for you?
So my biggest card right now is actually the 1985 Michael Jordan Nike promo card.
Ooh, I saw that.
I saw that.
Instagram. Yeah.
Beautiful card. Oh my
yeah. So that's actually my Grail card right now. Like, that's my biggest card right now. I love that card, and for a long time I didn't have any Michael Jordan cards. I had Kobe, I had LeBron, I had Tim Duncan. I didn't have any Michael Jordan. And I kept trying to figure out, because Michael Jordan is one of those players where the Michael Jordan market, of course, the 1986 Fleer is the most recognizable sports card out there. But the Michael Jordan market is a very deep one. I mean, there's a lot of Michael Jordan cards out there. There's a lot of Michael Jordan collectors out there. And so Michael Jordan is one of those players where I was like, if I get into Michael Jordan, I want to really properly do my research and try to find cards that aren't the 1986 Fleer, because the population on the 86 Fleer is high after the PSA 10. There's thousands of those cards out there.
9s and 8s are so much.
Yeah, like 2,700 in the 8s or something. Like there's a lot of those cards out there. And so that's a little concerning to me. Like that always concerns me. I know it's Michael Jordan. I know it's the most iconic card. So 86 Fleer, I'm not saying that because of the population it's going to have a tough time. It's going to be fine. That card is always going to be fine. But it's like, where's the upside? How can I get into a card that doesn't just 2x on me, but I give myself the opportunity to potentially 5x or 6x on it, right? And so as I got into my Michael Jordan research, which I was doing for some time now, I landed on that Nike promo because it's the Jumpman logo. For all of us who didn't watch Michael Jordan. Yeah. Like, how old are you guys?
22.
23.
All right. So you guys didn't watch. I'm 28. I didn't watch Michael Jordan. You guys didn't watch Michael Jordan.
Yeah. All we saw was The Last Dance.
Yeah. The Last Dance was awesome. I mean, how hype was that? So love that. Man. Got me super into, Michael Jordan again. Just as a basketball fan, there's a part of me that just wants to be a basketball historian as well. Like I would love to have part of the greats, even though I didn't quite watch them. Now, when cards are expensive, it's hard to get myself to buy those cards because I want to have that emotional connection to it. and I don't always have that emotional connection to guys I didn't watch. But the Jumpman logo, iconic. And so that's why I bought it. I put it took me a long time to get. It's a $35,000 card, huge card, but one I've been working on for like a year, and I finally got myself to get there. So it's a fun one. I'm excited to have it. I think that card, if the 86 Fleer is a $500,000 card right now, and I picked that up for 35, the way I think about it is like the population is only 164. Is that $100,000 card in a year and a half, 2 years? Like, why not? If the market continues to go the way it goes, why is that card not $100,000 card in 2 years? So
yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, beautiful card.
It's a fun one, yeah.
Right. So you got that card, the card that you really, really like. Is there a card that you kind of regret buying, or I wouldn't say regret, but maybe I would say, I guess you can stick to regret. Yeah, is there a card that way?
Yeah, we have those. So we're curious, what's yours?
Everyone's got
yeah,
it, right?
whether,
actually, thinking about, I have one.
Whether people want to admit it or not.
Yeah, I want to hear your answer to that question as well. But for me, I believe that you have to buy and make mistakes in order to learn. The only way. You can learn from other people. You can watch my video where I talk about my biggest mistakes, and you can take from it. But most likely what's going to happen is that you make your own mistakes, and that's the best way to learn. So I don't regret any of my buys, but there were times where I got caught up in the hype. Like my Tyler, where I will say it's the ultra modern stuff that has always been the cards where I'm like, what was I thinking? This guy's going to play in the league for 15 years. Why do I need to be buying him in year 2 before he's won anything? You know what I'm saying? I know that there's this whole, like, are you buying modern? Are you buying vintage? There's this kind of separation in the market of, are you buying ultra modern cards or modern cards, or are you buying vintage and Hall of Fame stuff? I think you should be doing both. And I think that it should be heavily weighted towards vintage and Hall of Fame stuff, especially in the Kobe, LeBron, MJ market. But that's what I do to lower my risk. So my biggest regrets, like my Tyler Hero stuff, man, that was dumb. Like I got caught up in the hype. I saw him drop, that 36-point game or whatever he
Boston.
had.
Yeah. Oh, man,
I can relate.
Similar feeling.
Yeah. We all know that feeling of getting caught up in the hype. And that's one where I got caught up in the hype. Like I will tell you straight up, I'm trying to move my Tyler Hero stuff, and I'm taking huge losses. I don't care. I will take that money. And there's this whole thing of like, I talk to people all the time who bought a card and they want to move it. They kind of regret buying it. They shouldn't have bought it. And now they're looking to move it. And they're like, hey man, I bought it for too high, so I can't give you it. I can't give it to you at market price because I paid too high for it. That's not how to think about it.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
If you get a market price and you want to move the card, the buyer does not care what you paid for it.
Right.
They don't care.
Right.
It's up to you to decide, are you going to take a market price for it, or are you not going to take a market price for it? And the way I would think about it is, can you take that money and reinvest it somewhere else that's more efficient, even if that requires you to take a loss? Who cares? Take the loss. It's just numbers on a piece of paper. But if you buy a car for $2,000, someone offers you $1,500, and that's what it's worth. It's worth $1,500. Some people are so scared of taking a $500 loss and don't see it as taking a $1,500 gain. And that's really the mindset shift that helped me a lot in moving my portfolio, so that when I made my mistakes, I just cut my losses and I moved on. I took whatever money I could get out of it and I moved on. Because I'm not a limitless bucket of money either. I make good money right now, but I want to keep investing, especially because the more research I do, the better I get at investing in sports cards. So the more time you spend in the market, more likely is that you're going to find cards that you like more than what you bought 6 months ago. So if you didn't like what you bought 6 months ago, that's okay. Move on the card, even if it means taking a loss, if you don't believe in the card anymore. And I really highly encourage people to not think about what they paid for the card, but think about what the card is going to do in the future, right? So if you buy a card for $2,000 and now it's worth $1,000, but you don't believe that card is ever going to be worth $2,000 again or $3,000 again, well, that's okay, because there's better $1,000 buys. Like there are $1,000 buys that you're going to make today that become $5,000 to $10,000 6 months from now. But if you don't sell your card and you don't have the money to go buy the $1,000 card because you're afraid of taking a loss, well, guess what? You just missed out on a really good opportunity just because you're worried about what the number looks like on your piece of paper. That's not the right way to think about it, right? So I've made mistakes. Tyler Hero is probably one of my biggest ones. Pascal Siakam. I bought a Pascal Siakam card in the height of the bubble playoffs last year. And then I saw Pascal Siakam go out there and do a ton of spin moves and just constantly get stopped and not be able to get past defenders in playoff basketball. And shit, I bought that for $830, and overnight it dropped down to $230. Overnight. I mean, they got him eliminated. It was worth $200. Wow. And still now is only worth $140.
That's tough.
Now, that's on a small scale, but I moved on it. I was like, screw it. I'm going to take a $600 loss on this card, a 60% loss on this card. But I can do more with $250 today with it not being in a Pascal Siakam card than I can if I left it in a Pascal Siakam card just because I'm worried about the fact that I made a mistake. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
It's taking those opportunities and that opportunity cost of keeping that money in that card versus selling it, recouping whatever you can get out of it, and moving into the next card. And that's helped me a ton in just moving my portfolio. That's the only reason I've been able to grow so quickly is because I didn't keep all the mistakes I made in my cards. Like, I'll give you another example. After The Last Dance, I bought a Scottie Pippen card at the peak, $2,500. I was so enamored with Scottie Pippen after The Last Dance. I thought that was a really interesting character. But by the time you're buying MJ, Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen during The Last Dance, bro, you are too late. You are too late. You're the person that people who bought it 6 months ago in anticipation for The Last Dance are selling it to. And I got caught in that, right? Like, that was a card that I bought in episode 2. I bought, when Dennis Rodman's episode comes out, man, I was way too late for that. I was the one buying it to peak, you know? So, but that was the point is like, you know, I was too short-term minded. I was trying to flip that card. I was trying to say, I'm going to buy it in episode 2 and sell it in episode 6. That doesn't work. It's too short-sighted. But I learned from that mistake, and I took my Dennis Rodman card and my Scottie Pippen card, and I took huge losses on it at a time where I was really new in the card market, and it really hurt to take the loss. Like, I didn't feel good, but I did that, and I put them back into my 2008 Kobe Topps Chrome in a PSA 10 that I bought for $1,000, and now that's an $8,000 card.
Still a win.
You know what I'm saying? Like, is Scottie Pippen worth $8,000 today? No. Is Dennis Rodman worth $8,000? No. But taking losses and moving on your cards allows you to move up faster because you're finding better buys. So you don't have to be right all the time. You just have to be right more than you're wrong. That's it.
It's a great quote. That's for the highlight clip.
That's a great quote. Yeah, that's definitely the highlight. Like, for any novice hobbyist, like, man, this is like out of the box thinking if you're like a novice, you know, like if you started, like, wow. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Great,
what about you guys? What's your biggest regret?
It might be in the making. I took a gamble on Jaren Jackson Jr. because I was buying into the anticipation of him coming back. So I think I bought a couple of weeks before the All-Star break, since that was his original projected return. Yeah. And it's been delayed again. He's been going really slow. But we'll see. I bought a lot, but it's an amount that if it goes to shit, I'll be okay. I mean, I'll be sad, but I'll be okay. But if it, on the off chance it does go maybe even at least 60% up, maybe I can sell. I think I bought 12 base PSA 9s.
Really?
Just for a quick flip when he comes back. So when, you know, like the news comes back, maybe he plays his first game, maybe the Grizzlies get some play-in attention or something, you know, sell around that area, or maybe sell half and let the other half ride. So I'll update you what happens.
Yeah. For me, mine's like a simpler story. Just really got caught in the hype train. It was a Kendrick Nunn Prism update. And at the time, there were two hype trains that I rode. One was that he was like top 5 rookie, you know, like first team all rookie.
Right.
This was last year.
Third place. Last year, yeah. He finished third place in rookie of the year votings. So like man, this guy's gonna be good. Goran got injured. And then the second hype train was the Chronicles boxes came out like as a box breaker, like new box, new product, Prism updates. And my head was like, oh, this is rare because it's a Prism update. Like, you have to win this from the Chronicles boxes. So like, this is gonna be a good card. Man, I think I bought the Kendrick Nunn for like $50, $60. Like shit. And then, but this month, I think I saw one was going for like freaking $5-6.
Yeah,
And
Jaren Jackson, Kendrick Nunn, like that's just gambling. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Now they could work out, but you're asking for a lot of things to go right in order for those to work out. And so like, I got to a place where I'm just not prospecting as much. I'm just buying more into, you know, if I'm making any sort of modern play right now, it's like Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard, even in PSA 9s of Prism and staying within even for like the 2012 set. Like one other thing I did was buy low pop Kawhi Leonard cards. That was also a mistake because there aren't enough fans of Kawhi Leonard to warrant low pop Kawhi Leonard cards. If you're going to buy Kawhi Leonard, just stick to Prism. It just makes sense. Like buy Prism PSA 9s or Prism PSA 10s instead of the low pop Kawhi Leonard card that nobody knows about, you know, because those don't get the attention at the end of the day. But a lot of nuance to this, man. There's like a lot of, again, that's the beauty of the card market is that there's a million ways to do it. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, the way I structure my my stuff, well, at least for the Jaren Jackson Jr. was that I guess a snippet of my research process is that what I do in general is I'll take a tolerable amount of risk and put it on a prospect, and then if it works out and then I'm okay with the profit, I take that profit and put that in vintage or someone like an Anthony Davis or a LeBron or any of those caliber type of players. So yeah, take a bit of risk and then secure the profits, take a bit of risk, secure the profits. So that's somewhere that's the kind of path that I'm kind of going on right now with the Jaren Jackson Jr. So I mean, hopefully.
Good luck. He's a good player. He's a really good player. But Jaren Jackson Jr.'s whole thing since he was in college has always been he gets injured a lot.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll see what happens.
Right, we got one last question for this segment, just to wrap it up. You got any cards or a grail that you're chasing for that you haven't gotten your hands on or even seen?
Yeah. Because this is a really good time to buy Kobe, I'm trying to figure out which Kobe rookie that I want to go after right now. I'm in that research process of figuring out, you know, I love the Flair Showcase row zeros. I love the star date insert. I love the EX 2000, you know, credentials card that not the credentials itself, but the Skybox EX 2000 cards that they're for the 1996 Kobe set. So there's several Kobe rookies that I really like right now that I'm trying to kind of plan for, especially if it continues to dip a little bit more. But his Hall of Fame ceremony is coming, so I don't know how much time I have here. But I'm in the process of like trying to consolidate right now. I'm also kind of tapped out. I'm waiting for a lot of plays to kind of work themselves through right now because I've got a couple playoff plays that I like that I'm just kind of seeing what's going to happen before I can sell a lot of cards. But hopefully I'm going to free up some cash here relatively soon to go after, you know, hopefully a big like Kobe or LeBron rookie in a PSA 10 that again, a grail card, you know, like the row zero Kobe. If I could get my hands on something like that for the Flair Showcase, that would be really cool. So chasing some big Kobe, LeBron, and MJ cards right now.
Thank you so much for watching. If you dig that video, please don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to our channel. And last but not least, don't forget to click the notification bell so you don't miss out on any video.